Hello, welcome to Navigating Change, Women's Education, Employment and Climate Challenges. I am Gemina Silva from Solidaridad Sin Fronteras in Spain, and I will be your host as we explore key issues impacting women today in education, employment, and the climate crisis. It's a pleasure to welcome you on behalf of the European Bureau of Family, also known as the EPF project. EPF promotes European integration with a focus on gender equality and non-discrimination. Our mission is to foster our community that tackles everyday gender challenges, especially in the workplace. Today, we will feature 3 interviews with remarkable women addressing some of today's most pressing challenges. In addition, throughout the event, we will share glimpses of our ongoing community work with short videos showcasing our local effort in Spain, Italy, France, and Germany. Now, I am excited to introduce our first speaker, Sol Oddone, project manager at the Guaraní Association in Spain. Sol has been leading social and labor initiatives focusing on long-term unemployed women. She will share valuable insights into the challenges women face in returning to the workforce and the innovative solutions her organization is implementing. So, welcome and thank you for being with us today. Could you tell us about the Guarani Association and the work you do with longer-term unemployed women?
Yes, thank you for having me. So to give you a little context, Guarani Association is a nonprofit organization founded in 2006. It originally was to address the needs of immigrants from Paraguay, but over time, the association has grown and expanded its support to individuals from various backgrounds facing vulnerabilities with a strong focus on social inclusion and the defense of fundamental rights. Currently, we have 67% of our service users are migrant women, primarily from Peru, Colombia, and Venezuela, who encounter their unique challenges in integration and workforce reentry. We manage a Center for Participation and Integration of Migrants it's called CEPI in Spanish. It's the short term in the neighborhood of Charmartin. And we offer them job counseling, training workshops, immigration legal services, psychological support as well. And our approach provides not only job skills, but also emotional social tools to help these women overcome their employment barriers and promote their full integration into Spanish society.
Thank you for sharing your relevant work and experience. So, based on that, what are some of the main barriers these women face when trying to re-enter the workforce? And how do your program help them overcome these challenges?
Okay, so the main barriers faced by these women in Spain are multifaceted, involving both structural and individual challenges. And some of the key obstacles that they face are, for example, they have a skills gap and also lack of digital literacy in general. So basically, because they have been like long-term unemployed, many of them lack recent experience on digital skills or skill sets that they need to re-enter the workforce. And there is a very rapid technological change that can feel a little bit intimidated for them. So our program offers practical hands-on training in digital skills tailored in different levels from basic computer literacy to more advanced competencies like office softwares and things as such. And we provide a personalized support to help them because our groups are small. So we try to make it as individualistic as possible to adapt to them. They also face age and gender discrimination, unfortunately. These women, most of them are over 45, and they often counter stereotypes that say that they are less adaptable or that they need more time to be brought up to speed. And those biases can create additional obstacles in their job applications and their interviews. So we try to, well, we do, we do have 2 sessions every month for confidence building. Like we call it a women's group, because there we empower participants to encounter these biases, provide them tools to frame their life experiences as valuable assets. We also offer job coaching that includes like interview preparation to help them effectively communicate their strengths. And another 2 obstacles they face are lack of flexible work opportunities, especially for single mothers or women that have caregiving responsibilities. The lack of flexible work options is a big barrier. And these long and inflexible hours prevent them from rejoining the workforce. So we try to promote and encourage flexible work arrangements and remote jobs opportunities when we help them find a job by giving them resources such as web pages where to apply, help them throughout the process. We assist these participants in finding roles that align with their ability and their family responsibilities. And one of the last obstacles that we've seen is low self-esteem and motivation. And here I go back to like generating this sense of community. So that's why having this group of women is very important. And we also have a psychologist who works with them as a group. And we offer this psychological support both individually and in groups for these women to share experiences and motivate each other, to have, as I said, this sense of community combined with the guidance of the psychologist helps them rebuild that self-confidence and provides a strong foundation for their personal growth.
Yes, of course. Thank you for incredible work. What advice would you give to other organizations across Europe that are trying to implement similar programs?
Yes, so some of the advice I would give to other organizations is do not forget that this is it's very important to have a like a multidisciplinary approach. These women not only need to re-enter the workforce to simply get a job, they need the emotional and social support as well. So that's why in our experience we try to give them all of the tools they need from different perspectives, from different professionals, as a psychologist, job orientators, social workers, to give them like a full program that really tackles all of their needs. Another one, and we're working on that ourselves, is building partnerships with local employers. Engaging employers early on can show them the benefits of a more diverse and inclusive workforce. This way, we can also tackle biases and foster a network of potential employers open to hiring women in this demographic. So I think that's a really important thing, and it would be really helpful. Also, advocate for policy changes. I think it's very important. Engaging with policymakers can amplify the impact of our work, of all of our work. Advocate for changes such as flexible working policies, maybe subsidized healthcare as a way of like tackling this caregiving responsibilities, funding for upskilling programs for them. I think that working in collaboration with other organizations in the sector would be helpful to build a stronger case for public support and ensure the long-term sustainability of all these initiatives. So I think that is very important. And lastly, throughout the program, having a regular evaluation helps a lot. It helps us understand what we're working on, the impact that we have, and also what are legal adjustments we need to be making all along the program. Using this data continuously helps us refine our approach and adapt to emerging trends and new challenges, especially the workforce changes all the time and very fast. So we often need to adapt, and I think that's important. And for that, we need data and information. So gathering that progress, that information, it's really important to adapt and also to measure our progress. And and to see what impact we're having on these women. And I think those are all my recommendations for now. I hope they help. And thank you for having me here.
Thank you
I
so
hope you
much,
learned a lot.
Sol, for sharing those valuable insights with us.
Thank you.
So, as our next speaker prepares, we will take a moment to highlight another of our local community meetings. This one focused on women entrepreneurship. So, let's take a look.
In May 2024, the first local community meeting of the EPF Europe Plural Feminine Project was held. In Ajaccio in Corsica, Madrid in Spain, Sassari in Italy, and at the Hanover Fair in Germany, the focus was women and entrepreneurship. Each meeting explored the intricate world of female entrepreneurship, highlighting statistical data and the various challenges women face in European society. Individual women entrepreneurs active in the area in a wide variety of fields, ranging from energy to fashion, were invited to the meetings, as well as representatives of organizations that incentivize and actively promote female entrepreneurship in the area.
Col mio doppio ruolo di imprenditore e dirigente sono orgogliosa di poter supportare e di partecipare a questo progetto internazionale Europe Plural Feminine. È un progetto che sposa completamente gli ideali, appunto, di parità di genere, non discriminazione e valorizzazione del ruolo della donna nella società e sul posto di lavoro, tutti ideali che sono portati avanti anche dal gruppo Confcommercio Terziario Donna nazionale.
Panelists shared insights, experiences, and perspectives, giving life to a truly dynamic exchange of ideas. It was a great opportunity for the participants to meet some exemplary women who work in this field, but at the same time, a moment of awareness and acknowledgement about difficulties that usually women must face in everyday life.
Il y avait quand même, pardon, mais il y avait quand même, moi je me souviens quand j'ai commencé à travailler, j'avais en 91, de suite, il y avait quand même un écart de salaire qui existe toujours aujourd'hui, ça a toujours été, et c'est vraiment quelque chose qu'il faudrait arriver à abolir, parce que il y avait 20% d'écart, et je crois que c'est toujours le 10%. Maintenant qu'il y avait bien 20%. Quand j'étais freelance, quand je facturais, je pouvais pas facturer comme un mec, il facturait plus. Hein. Ah non, je suis désolée, je dénonce les injustices. Hein. Il faut continuer à se battre. De toute façon, rien n'est gagné.
The audience was encouraged to participate, sparking rounds of questions and debates.
De este evento nos llevamos las sinergias con otras mujeres que emprenden, ¿no? Y que hemos analizado todas las posibilidades de emprendimiento, quitar esos miedos. Al final, el emprendimiento es una salida para la incorporación al mercado laboral, y este tipo de eventos lo que hacen es promocionarlos, quitarnos miedos y sentirnos más seguras a la hora de emprender. Y si es un emprendimiento social, pues mucho mejor aún.
Yo encantada de estar aquí, de presentar mi historia, y me ha parecido muy importante, muy interesante y muchas cosas que aprender.
Next, I'm delighted to introduce Martina Leigheb, who works in the NGO ASUD in Italy, and who will speak about education and women empowerment. So, Martina, tell us, what are the primary barriers or challenges limiting girls' and women's access to education in the area ASUD operates?
Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks, Gemina, and thanks for inviting me and having me in this interesting event. So just a little bit of introduction. I'm Martina Leigheb, working in ASUD organization. So ASUD is an Italian ecological organization that since more or less 20 years works with environmental and climate justice through different means, different instruments. And a very important one for us is ecological education. And we are an association that embrace the eco-trans feminist approach. And therefore, for us, it is crucial to bring this into the educational activities that we implement. So the schools we work with adults, but a lot with girls and boys, and a lot with the schools institution, and a lot with the STEAM disciplines, so the science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics disciplines. And so what we work both with the scientific high school, but also with the technical professionalizing institutions. So I would like to talk about the barriers that girls, a young woman, face by gender and also by gender, but also geographically in the access to the scientific and technological instructions. So the numbers in Italy show clearly how have access to science and education varies not also by gender, but also geographically. And for example, with ASUD, we work a lot in the center of Italy, especially in Rome, but also in the island in Sicily. And in the Ministry of Education, Italian education website shows us that as far as technical institutes are concerned, only the 15% in the center Italy of students are female, and in the island this percentage drops to 9%. So this are the data that really shows that the effect of the barriers in the access to the scientific discipline. But which are these barriers? We think that the main barriers is always stereotypes. Also, so gender stereotypes that continued to be perpetuated both in school and in families, and which obviously reflect the social stereotypes that are really well rooted in the Italian society, but no, not only in Italy, of course.
Yes, of course. Thank you for helping these women to overcome these barriers. I would like to know, what specific initiatives has ASUD implemented to enhance education opportunities for girls and women?
So as I said before, we work a lot with the schools, so both with teachers, but also with students. And normally we use the tools of open science and up to talking about science and environment. And for us, it's fundamental and also transversal to all our activities to try to deconstruct, continuously deconstruct gender stereotypes. And we do this together with all the educational community. And at the moment, we are focusing on several projects about how to change the way the career guidance is done in high schools, so that the educational institutions would be able to guide students based on their real own aptitudes, and not on their gender identities that, as we all know, is just a social and cultural construct. We are also involved in several projects about open science, as I said, and we deal with we carry on a laboratory and workshop. Take the opportunity to meet students, to let students to meet female professionals in the science. For example, in Catania, in a high school from Catania, meet a female physicist who was she was working in the Institute of Nuclear Physics, and this is a very big chance to really see a different kind of female image.
Yes, sure. So, ASUD is the coordinating organization of the Mission Impossible project, which connects education, climate change, and gender. Could you please tell us more about it and how does it support education and raise awareness about climate change from a gender perspective?
Yeah, thank you very much for this question, because the Mission Impossible is a project that we care a lot about. It's almost 2 years that this European co-funded the project is implemented by 7 organizations. As you said, ASUD is the coordinator one, but we work with several organizations in Italy, in Spain, and in Portugal. And I'm also glad that Marta from Iroko is here, because Iroko is one of our partners in this project. So the main aim of the project is to enhance the capacity, the potential leading role of the development cooperation and international cooperation and humanitarian aid sector. So we would like to train both students and professional, but also academics of the international cooperation sector, and also to try to create this new role that is the climate strategy, because we know that international NGOs have the duty to act for climate. And I would like to talk to you more about the MOOC, so the project outputs. If you want to, yeah, thanks.
Yes.
So concerning the project outputs, we have 3 main outputs. The first one is the MOOC, but I will talk about it more deeply later. But basically is an free and online course. It's more or less 25 hours of course. And there are 4 main clusters. So it is about the climate science, the climate justice visions, the how to curb the emissions, and how to engage the different actors that are in the international cooperation sector. Another interesting output is the climate strategy toolkit. So as I said, one of the project objective is to create and develop inside the organization this new professional role that is the climate strategy. So in the toolkit, there are all the tools that we have co-created within the partners to develop this professional figure. And basically the climate strategies inside an organization need to be aware of how much emissions the organization does, and also how to curb them. And the third output is this methodological framework of implementation that basically will serve to replicate all the project outputs. So maybe other organization or other higher institution, university should use this framework to replicate the MOOC or the climate strategy toolkit. And concerning the MOOC, as I said, there are 4 clusters. So this MOOC is still available in the ASUD e-learning platform, Training for Change, and it will remain available at least for 2 years. But I would like to invite all the interesting person to enroll now, because through the completion of the course, until the end of November of this year, so until the 30 November of 2024, if you will complete the course. So as I said, more or less it's 25 hours online course. You will be able to receive the ACTS, so the European University credits. And so it's still available in the Training for Change platform in Italian, in English, in French, in Spanish, and in Portuguese. There are some video lectures, and it's a really, we are very happy to receive a lot of good positive feedback from this course. So I really invite you to, if you're interested, to enroll it. And inside the first cluster about climate justice and this vision, there is also an interesting module about gender and climate change.
Yes, of course. Thank you for this opportunity and for emphasizing the transformative impact of education. Is of great value for us.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me.
Thank you, Martina. Now, let's move to our final video. which highlights our most recent community meeting. This session centered on women and civic participation.
Oggi un importante convegno, un importante momento di confronto con amministratrici del territorio gallurese e tutte insieme ovviamente conveniamo che ancora tanto ci sia da fare per la parità di genere e per far sì che più donne possano arrivare a gestire la cosa pubblica.
In June 2024, the second local community meeting of the EPF Euro Plural Feminine Project was held. In Onza in Corsica, Madrid in Spain, Olbia in Italy and in Stuttgart in Germany, the focus was on women and politics.
Oggi si parlava di donne in politica e di quanto sia difficile ancora nel 2024 fare politica essendo donna. Io sono la prima vice sindaca donna di Olbia, quindi questo vuol dire che piano piano stiamo riuscendo a cambiare la cultura della politica e quindi dell'elettorato. Perché se ancora troppe poche donne ricoprono ruoli istituzionali vuol dire che l'elettore ancora vota poche donne o spesso, grazie alla doppia preferenza di genere, magari le abbina ad un uomo.
Topics such as women's participation in politics and women's involvement in the public sphere were addressed with a great consideration towards people in vulnerable situations, particularly people with disabilities. Women engaged in politics were invited and offered data and analysis on the current situations in terms of overall female representations in politics across Europe, also from a historical perspective.
Les femmes aujourd'hui, elles continuent à faire face à des obstacles importants, hein, évidemment les stéréotypes de genre, la double journée de travail, le harcèlement aussi. Je ne sais pas si vous vous rappelez, il y a quelques années, il y avait une scène assez épique, je crois que c'était à l'Assemblée nationale, où quand une femme, une élue monte à la tribune pour s'exprimer, eh bien, on entend des bruits de caquettement un peu partout dans la salle. Vous voyez, ce type de climat qui ne met effectivement pas dans de bonnes conditions pour faire son métier.
The women involved shared insights, experiences, and perspectives, fostering a dynamic exchange of ideas. The event, which was also aimed at high school students, facilitated the exchange of experiences and good practices among participants regarding the promotion of civic participations and encouraging gender equality as a cross-cutting team.
El evento me ha abierto varias puertas y me ha enseñado a colaborar con otras entidades que no están aquí en España, que están en Europa, y enriquecernos a nivel cultural y en todos los sentidos.
Me ha encantado, o sea, tengo muchísimas dudas ahora porque como se han explicado tan bien y han abierto tanto el abanico, ahora tengo que procesar todo, pero vamos, que me llevo mucha duda, pero mucha certeza, vamos, mucha cosa nueva para ampliar más todo.
Me llevo el enriquecimiento de las oportunidades que abre un proyecto de este tipo para tantas mujeres.
As we continue, we have seen the intersection of gender and climate change. Now, let's dive deeper to our final interview with Marta Nuero, coordinator of Iroko, a group focused on women's role on climate action and ecofeminism. This conversation will tie together the themes we have explored, showing how environmental and gender issues are closely linked. Marta, how does climate change unequally impact women in the community where Iroko works?
So, first of all, thank you, Gemina, for having me here. As you were saying, I'm working for Iroko. Iroko was created 17 years ago. We are an NGO that working for development cooperation, especially. And I'm talking here more about our development project than the others that we have also environmental education in Europe. But I will talk a bit more about the development cooperation and the project that we are having. Iroko works in projects especially linked to natural resources like water, forest, biodiversity in the global south. For example, I will tell you about the project that we have, a project of water supply in Dangia PME, that is in Togo, in a rural community where the women are the responsible for essential tasks like water collection. And climate change is causing droughts to occur more frequently and with greater intensity. So this makes women to travel longer distance to collect water, increasingly their physical workload and reducing the time available for productive activities, education, or family care. So this increased burden directly impacts in their physical and emotional well-being, trapping them in cycles of poverty. So another project that we are working is empowering women through apiculture, the bees, increasing biodiversity, and at the same time that they are earning extra money. Because women are responsible for the half of the world's food production in the South. So they play a key role in all these three aspects of food security: production, distribution, and also the utilization, the use of it. Women in the global South are disproportionately vulnerable to climate change due to the gender division of labor and the reliance on the natural resources for their livelihoods. They often manage food production, water collection, and also the household energy, going, for example, to the forest to pick up the wood as the fuel. So, and these sectors are severely impacted by climate change. As we said before, the degradation of soil and reduced water supply hit women particularly hard, as they are typically responsible for securing the food and the water for their family. Feminization of poverty, this is a phenomenon that is amplified by climate change. In many communities where women already had less access to land ownership and credit, climate change worsened their economic situation, which can lead to greater financial insecurity and, in some cases, increased gender-based violence. So there are many communities where men are more mobile, and they are more likely to migrate to areas unaffected by climate change, searching for employment when the climate disasters are striking, leaving the woman always behind to manage household under increasingly difficult conditions. This often increases their workloads and exacerbates pre-existing gender inequities. So climate-induced migration and displacement are particularly dangerous for women, as they are more likely to face social stigma, economic insecurity, and gender-based violence.
Sorry. No, you can continue, please. I'm sorry.
Yeah, climate change also amplifies another risk, like health issues related to exposure to environments, contaminants, or which can affect also to women's reproductive systems.
Yes, of course. What I was going to say is that I can see that your work is of great impact, especially nowadays. And I would like to ask you another question. In what ways can women play a central role in addressing climate change?
So, despite their vulnerability, women are the key agents in the fight against climate change, as their roles in the communities are intrinsically linked to the sustainability of the natural resources, as we were talking before. In developing countries, women produce between 60 and 80% of the food and contribute significantly to food security in their communities. In addition to cultivating food, they manage also soil and water conservation and collect fuel for cooking and heating, placing them at the heart of adaptation and mitigation activities against the climate change. However, their potential to lead in this area is blocked by structural barriers, such as limited access to land, because less than 2% of agricultural land is owned by women. Credit and agricultural technologies and technical training are also some barriers. For example, only 10% of agricultural credit is granted to women, which limits their ability to implement more sustainable farming practices, or, for example, to access seed and tools needed to adapt to climate change. For women to play a more effective role in addressing the climate change will be essential that they are fully integrated into the decision-making process at both national and local levels. And their involvement in the design and development of adaptive technologies can also ensure that these solutions are culturally appropriate, efficient, and also sustainable in the long term. That is very important. And that's why climate adaptation and mitigation policies must include gender perspective that specifically address the inequalities women face in accessing resources and the technology and also the training. Globally, in general, gender equality and women's empowerment are not only the human rights issues, but also is a requisite to achieve all the sustainable development goals. Women, due to their experience and knowledge in managing natural resources, can be really effective leaders in implementing climate change adaptation and mitigation strategies. So investing in programs that promote gender equity with climate action not only will improve the woman living condition, but also benefit the entire community, because they are fostering more sustainable and resilient practices in the face of climate change.
Yes, so you told us that women are trying to overcome climate challenges. And I would like to ask, what are the main barriers women face in participating in climate actions? And what strategies have you found most effective in overcoming these barriers?
So the main barriers come from systemic gender inequalities, like some of the ones that we have named before, as the limited access to the land ownership, or the limited access to the credit, the limited access to technology and information. So cultural roles in many societies also restrict women's mobility and the decision-making power, preventing them from fully engaging in climate adaptation and mitigation efforts. Women often have fewer opportunities for education and training, which complicate their ability to contribute or to benefit from climate-related initiatives. In our projects in Togo, for example, we have realized that it's more difficult to communicate with women, as many of them didn't go to school and can't speak French. Only Ebe. Ebe is the local language that they have there. So to overcome these barriers, a multidimensional approach is necessary. First, legal and policy reforms that protect and promote women's right to land, and final resources that are crucial as well. But giving them the legal framework is the first steps. Later on, the rest of the community need to be aware and accept the new laws. And this is a long-term work, as many times the traditions are very deep-rooted established. So it is essential that strengthening women's access to education and training, particularly in fields like sustainable agriculture, renewable energies, and disaster risk reduction. It is very important to equip them with the skills to participate in climate solutions. Also, gender-responsive budgeting for the inclusion of women in all levels of decision-making, local, regional, and national, are key to ensuring that climate policies will be inclusive. One of the most effective strategies is empowering women's organizations, which can advocate for their rights and ensure that the climate adaptation projects are designed with their needs in mind. So related to this, I would like to mention an initiative that I belong to. It's a small group of Spanish women that wanted to create a WhatsApp group of forestry women who had studied or is working in the forestry fields. So it is called Mujeres Forestales Estupendas, wonderful forestry women. And we're starting as 40 people. Today, there are 677 women with all kind of experience, background. And this is a group where you can ask, disseminate events or activities to mentor, support, exchange job positions. For example, in panels where there are no women, we highlight and propose equal ones with more women. And it is amazing in a field so masculine like forestry, we have built a community that is achieving many things.
Thank you, Marta, for your incredible work, for sharing this insight with us. It's incredible.
Thank you for having me. It's a great initiative what you have. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So, before we close, I want to express a sincere thank you to our remarkable speakers for sharing their valuable insights and experiences. Through today's discussion, we have explored the key issues at the intersection of gender, education, employment, and climate change, revealing how deeply these areas are connected and reinforcing one another. The Easter's initiatives shared today showcase the resilience and leadership of women addressing climate challenges, advocating for equal access to education, and breaking down barriers in the workplace. Empowering women is not just about providing opportunities, it's about fostering an environment where their voices are heard, their choices respected, and their impact recognized. We hope today's conversation inspires continued dialogue and action toward building a more equitable and sustainable future for all. The stories and initiatives shared today showcase the resilience and leadership of women in addressing climate challenges, advocating for equal access to education and breaking down barriers. We hope today's conversation. As we end, we have more time to see our last video about families managed and work-life balance.
The third round of local community meetings of the EPF Euro Plural Feminine Project were held between June and July 2024. The cities where the partners organized the meetings were Bastia in Corsica, Frankfurt am Main in Germany, Madrid in Spain, and Alghero in Italy.
Il tema di cui stiamo trattando è un tema sicuramente centrale nel piano Famiglia del Comune di Alghero e quindi anche noi facciamo tutto un lavoro sia culturale che di predisposizione di azioni per favorire una nuova cultura rispetto alla condivisione dei carichi in famiglia.
The focus of the meetings was family care and management and involved several experts and representatives of both organizations and institutions in front of a very diverse audience, which included schools.
Sandrine Franchich, sexologue clinicienne sur la région bastiaise et aussi vacataire pour le centre de santé sexuelle de Haute-Corse.
Donc Sandrine Leigheb, responsable de l'Observatoire de la jeunesse à la collectivité de Corse, au sein de la direction Jeunesse et Sport.
Bonsoir, donc Aude Nigolaï, enseignante dans le premier degré, actuellement en poste sur les CM2 à Bigouille et à Mincente-Regista.
Bonsoir, Marie-Pierre Finalter et je suis la directrice du CIDFF de Haute-Corse, Centre d'information sur les droits des femmes et des familles.
Participants talked about their experiences, commenting on the results of the observatory surveys, discussing about relational dynamics between girls and boys. Great focus was also dedicated to the politics that regulates equality rights and the activities to contrast discriminations and gender stereotypes in the work field and in the many other areas of daily life, starting from a very early age. At the center of the observations is the never-easy balancing act between professional and personal fulfillment in the work-family combination.
Oggi la presenza femminile lavorativa, soprattutto nel mio settore, è molto elevata. Raggiungiamo quasi il 50%, siamo al 48%, però risulta ancora che nelle posizioni di vertice o maggiormente rappresentative in anche organi politici della mia categoria, la presenza delle donne non sia ancora abbastanza elevata. Quindi nonostante non siamo favorite per le molteplici problematiche legate anche alla gestione di una maternità e di vicende genitoriali, vorrei spronare a cercare comunque di trovare tanto coraggio e non rinunciare a queste opportunità che si stanno presentando, ovviamente mettendo sempre davanti le nostre esigenze e sottolineando che ci scontriamo con un'assenza a livello legislativo di tutele e garanzie nei nostri confronti e quindi ci troviamo ancora oggi a dover fare delle scelte molto dure perché la donna viene ancora vista come relegata alla totale gestione dell'ambito familiare, quando invece in altre società sappiamo che questa visione è stata oramai superata. Anche si parla di paternità, si parla comunque di gestione della vita familiare al 50% per entrambi i partner e quindi prima di tutto ci vorrebbe ancora una rivoluzione prima di tutto culturale. Se la legge non interviene, credo che allora possiamo fare tanto noi come singole persone, aiutandoci a livello sociale sempre, anche all'interno dell'ambiente familiare, per favorire tutte queste nuove opportunità che si stanno presentando anche per le donne manager, per donne da inserire anche in posizioni più elevate. Quindi sono positiva al riguardo e chiedo di cogliere queste nuove sfide e di fare unione, di fare rete tra di noi.
Interesting observations have been made by the public that ask what actions could be taken to avoid the younger citizens reproduce stereotypes and how to educate them and improve awareness. In Spain in particular, the topic was dealt through a creative workshops. Participants had to create or decorate their tote bags, reflecting on several key questions. For example, how do they balance different roles in their lives and how these roles influence each other? what aspects of their daily lives brings them satisfaction, and what challenges do they face in managing balancing between family, personal and working life.
Me encantó el evento, me parece muy innovador, creativo, dinámico, muy interesante.
They also considered what changes of improvement they would like to see in the work or personal environment to improve this balance. The creations were then put together to form a collective tapestry. Some participants shared their experiences during the activity and expressed some of the changes they would like to see in their lives, as for example, a better planning in order to get more time for leisure activities, to communicate with their partners, or to better distribute daily tasks and routine.
Pues me llevo inspiración, ganas de seguir trabajando en temas de igualdad de género y un empuje, ¿no? para seguir despertando el lado artístico.
As we conclude, I would like to invite all of you, our engaged audience, to take an active role in shaping the future. The EPF project is calling for creative contributions that can make a real impact. If you're inspired by today's discussion and want to contribute your ideas and initiatives, I encourage you to visit the EPF Call for Creators website and get involved. Your voice and creativity are crucial in driving meaningful change and addressing the challenges we have discussed. Whether through innovative projects, collaborative efforts, or advocacy, there is a place for your contributions in this ongoing journey toward a more equitable and sustainable world. Please visit this QR code to access the website. Thank you all for your participation and for being part of this important dialogue. Let's continue to work together to make a difference. And before leaving, please go through the following evaluation questionnaire by the European Commission. Your opinion is really valuable to keep celebrating events like this. Have a wonderful day, and we look forward to see your ideas and actions in the future. Thank you.